Hello, our nerds. So this is actually the third time I've recorded this video. So I think I've got it down to an art, and I'm going to try to go as fast as I can. But this week our book is Leo the Lightning Bug, and if we read our sentence, it says, "The moonlight twinkled on the tops of the trees, and the sound of crickets filled the warm summer air." Now, immediately you can notice that this is a longer sentence, which might mean that we could consider whether or not this could be a compound or a complex sentence, which most of us don't know the differences in the sentence structures yet, but that's something we'll build over the year. We can notice that there is a period at the end of the sentence, which means that we're either going to be looking at a just normal statement, which would make this sentence declarative, or if it's commanding somebody to do something, then it would be important, right? It would be imperative. So if I look at the sentence again, it's not really commanding anybody to do anything. It's just saying something. So we're going to call this sentence type declarative. I'm going to write that down right here. And because I know that most of us don't know the difference between simple, complex, and compound sentences yet, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, and then also tell you why. But our sentence this week is going to be a compound sentence. And if you think of the word compound word, we're usually talking about two completely separate words that are mushed together, like football or sandbox. Separately, they mean different things, but together they are talking about one specific thing. And in this sentence, we have a special word right here that is creating this compound sentence situation. So if I read this before the and, it says, "The moonlight twinkled on the tops of the trees." Okay, that could be a sentence all by itself. There's a subject, there's a predicate. It could be by itself. If I said something, if I said this exact sentence to somebody, you would know every word that I'm saying, and it would make sense together. Let's look after the and. It says, "The sound of crickets filled the warm summer air." Once again, that could stand by itself too. So what we have here, these yellow underlined parts, those are actually two separate independent clauses. And it's okay if you don't understand what that means yet, other than the fact that we can tell that this could be said by itself and the other part could be said by itself. So they're two separate entire things that are combined to mean something slightly different. So that is a compound sentence. The special word that is combining them, it's joining them, is a conjunction. C-O-N-J-U-N, C-T-I-O-N, conjunction. And just because a sentence has a conjunction in it, specifically and, doesn't always mean that it is going to be a compound sentence, but in this case it is. It is joining two entire independent clauses together to make them one big long sentence. All right, normally when I'm doing sentence surgeon, I like to look out for my nouns, then my verbs, and then my adjectives. So let's look for people, places, and things. All right, if I'm looking through the sentence, the moonlight is a thing. So this is a noun. Okay, twinkled on the tops. Ooh, tops. That's a kind of like a place. And it's plural. So tops of the trees. This is a noun, but because there's more than one of them, it's going to be called plural noun. P-L-U-R-A-L, a plural noun. Of the trees, trees are things, and there's that S at the end. There's more than one tree, it's not just one. So once again, it's going to be a plural noun. Not just one tree, but lots. The sound of crickets filled the warm summer air. So cricket stands out. Crickets are creatures, so they're things. So we're going to have another plural noun. Plural noun. And then air. We can't really see it, but we know it's there. It's a thing. This is also a noun. And there's one more noun. And just like air that you can't see, it's the word sound. Sound. All right, so we've found all of our people, places, and things. Let's look for actions. The moonlight twinkled. Ooh, twinkled. That is a verb. Note the ending ed is going to help us tell what part of what tense it is. Although we won't get too deep into that right now. Just notice that it's an ed at the end. On the tops of the trees, and the sound of crickets filled the warm summer air. Filled is another action. So that is a verb. Once again, ending in an ed. So these are actually both the same tense. The warm summer air. All right, looks like we found all of the verbs. Let's look for describing words. Let's look for our adjectives. So we have the, on the, no, of, the, no, of, no, the, no, warm, ooh, warm is a describing word, and summer. Some of us are thinking of summer as a place and time, but this time it's describing the air. So what kind of air? It's summer air. What type of air is it? It's warm air. So both of these are describing words, so we're going to consider them both adjectives because they are both describing a noun. We also have describing words that don't describe nouns, but none of those are in this sentence. All right, so the words that we have left are the, on the, of the, of the. Wow, lots of thes. And if you remember, the is that special category called article where you have a, an, and the. There's only those three words that are considered articles. So we're going to go through the sentence and write down article above every the. So we have 1, 2, 3. The article, and the article. All right, the words we have left are on, of, and of. So they actually all three, of course, of and of are going to be the same part of speech in this sentence, but so is on. On is the same part of speech as of and of. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you because it's the beginning of the year. This is called a preposition. 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 And prepositions are usually showing the positioning of things in a sentence, whether it's a physical thing or something we can't see. Preposition. Preposition. All right, so we have all of our parts of speech in the sentence. Now let's consider our subject and our predicate. Now, because our sentence is a compound sentence, we have two independent clauses. Each of those could stand completely by itself. So that means we're actually going to have two completely different subjects and two completely different predicates in this sentence, because one set's going to be from the first independent clause and the other set is going to come from the second independent clause. So I always like to look for the predicate first, looking for the action, and then decide what does the action. And you'll see why that's extremely helpful in just a second. So I see in this independent clause we have twinkled. And then we just have to ask ourselves what twinkled. It was the moonlight. And the second independent clause, our verb is filled. And now we have to ask ourselves what filled. Did the crickets filled? Oh gosh, the crickets filled the air. Oh, that totally changes the sentence. We do not want the crickets filling the air, right? Unless you're really into bugs. So let's look at another option. We have sound. Did the sound fill the air? Yes, it did. So we're actually focused on the sound filling the air, not the crickets filling the air. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you.